Hi, my name is Noshad. Some of you guys know me as Shabon, and here are my thoughts with regards to Rubin Kazan pre-game. First of all, it's good news about Deadly King. Apparently, his abductor isn't the injury isn't as bad as he thought. It's feeling to like the GSP injury. It seems he's definitely obviously a bit lame in terms of pain. Because obviously you get an abductor injury, that's quite painful. And I'm not asking Ledley to go play a match literally on one leg or something. That being said, he could be a much better defender than the Ginger Pele ever was. But yeah, with that, as a result, we are down to 2 fit centre halves, and I'd say 1 fit centre half because the other one, Bassong's still a bit mentally unfit in terms of lacking confidence. 6 games, he should get it. I mean, Gallas is out for a while, Dawson's out for a while. This is the reason why we did get rid of Woodgate, because you need to have players you can rely on. 25-man squad. So that's good news from that perspective. The bad news is we're playing a pretty meaningless game. I mean, I remember before we played Liverpool at Anfield last season, there was talk about, are we going to retry in this game, or are we going to just forget about it, let's just lose, whatever. We obviously did try, because I don't know if we tried or not. I don't know if Liverpool didn't try either, but we won the game, won the Europa League. Let's deal with it. And I think it's a good opportunity to blood our young kids, And this game would really be, takes that phrase to a whole new level. Because let's face it, Lennon and Pino are both out. We only have 2 fit senior centre halves. That is a real tongue twister. And I'm not sure. Walker was playing, but he did take a bit of a knock in his ankle. Charlie apparently injured himself playing for Croatia. I'm not sure about Nico. I think he was injured as well. There's no way we're risking our holy trinity of Rafa, or her holy quartet. Sorry, of Rafa, Luca, Addy, and Gareth Bale. So it is going to be a pretty tight team. A lot of kids to be thrown in there, and it really will be a case of men against boys. And Rubin Kazan, they are a superb team, and obviously no one wants to go to Russia anyway. And not only that, you've got a team that were the Russian champions 2 years in a row. Everyone remembers them from out of nowhere beat Barcelona at home, and they got knocked out by Lyon, who were Group 2 seed. So they're not exactly a terrible team without any stretch of the imagination. And if we were playing our first team, then yes, I think we could easily beat them. Why not? And therefore, we are going to blame the kids. How would I roll up? It's a tricky one. We've got a goalkeeper who's got no confidence, and the manager seems to have no confidence in anyway. So I'm guessing it'll be Carlo in goal. In terms of the back 4, it'll be basically short of going to a bunch of kids saying, "Oh, so you're a right back? Yeah, you're playing. You're a centre half? Yeah, you're playing." And I don't know, probably Danny Rose. It's going to be that. I would not want to risk any of our defenders, because we haven't got any defenders to play. I mean, any defenders that we do have to play should be we should be playing in the Premier League. That is a money maker. I mean, I remember he had talking about this. He was going, "Oh, we'd like to win the FA Cup and the UEFA Cup." Well, things have changed, Mickey. The UEFA Cup was a very valuable trophy all those years ago, because at the time the Champions League or the Champions Cup, European Cup, was the purview of champions only. That's changed. So we have to move with the times. It's not said to me, "Oh, do you know what? You can win the UEFA Cup. Obviously the League Cup's gone, but UEFA Cup and the FA Cup, finish 6th, or you can finish 4th. And you're out of those. You don't qualify from the Europa League group stages. You're knocked out in the first round of the FA Cup. I'll take that. Definitely. Champions League. That's where the money is. That's what players want to be. It is just that simple. Back 4. Apart from areas, I can't imagine any of our players. I certainly don't know any of our players anyway. So, from that sense, because I remember when we have an injury crisis, because we have a lot of injuries it seems, but the word crisis isn't really being used as it used to be in the Francis and Hoddle era. I think the reason for that is that, let's face it, those teams we had, especially towards the latter era, the Francis era, and the Hoddle era, we had some bloody awful players. And the players we weren't that great. So if we lost them, I mean, let's face it, if we're losing that kind of dross, then imagine basically if if we're losing these kind of players, imagine the crap they're keeping out the side. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it is a worry, but that's something we have to put up with. But it's Europa League, and give the kids a chance. My personal, because I have no idea who the defender's going to be apart from Danny Rose. I think if I was picking my midfield and attack force, I would go 4-5-1. Play Tom Carroll and Livermore as centre mids, deep defensive midfielders. Play like a 3, Townsend, Gio in the hole behind Pav, and Iago Falque on the right hand side of that trident. And whatever kids we can get from the Inter-Gen Cup. Everyone's been talking about Suleiman Kolobai. Yeah, he's 16, and if he's the next Wayne Rooney, that would be fantastic. If he has that kind of impact, brilliant. I'll be like, wow. But you know what? He's only 16. He's playing in essentially these are friendlies. Yes, these are players who are playing for a professional contract, and they are going to try their hardest. But the levels are completely different, And so let's give the kid a chance. But that's how I play it, and hopefully, try and get a result. I would play. The reason I'm saying to play Pav instead of Harry Kane, I honestly do believe that Pav. This is Pav's last season with us. I think he signed a 4-year contract when he joined us, so he's 4 or 5-year contract. I don't know how and so I'm assuming that he's not got long left on his contract. Games have been shown in Russia, obviously. Chances are that's where he'll probably go back. He's settled. He is settled, obviously, in the UK, but give him the chance to go back to Russia. I'm sure he'll take it. He'll probably want to do well. He actually might be motivated. I don't think Pav's a bad player, without a doubt. I don't think he's a bad player. He doesn't turn to a bad player overnight, but for the way we are in the league and the way we play and the type of player he is, I mean, we've seen his quality, and we saw against Birmingham he can finish. I mean, that is incredible quality. That is just unbelievable quality. The problem is he doesn't do it for enough than 90 minutes. And that's the thing. And I've said this before, Pav, when he's on fire, or like Torres, one of those kind of goal scorers who are just scoring goals for fun. It's like having 12 men on the pitch. When they're not scoring, they're out of form. It's like having 10. It's a harsh thing to say, but modern day strikers have to be able to contribute more than scoring goals. As important as that is, if they're not scoring, they have to do something else, to justify their place in the team. I think 4-5-1. I'll be impressed. I'll be amazed if we get like right back in 2 centre halves. I'm hoping it isn't Kabul or Basson or Charlie or Carl Walker. So and it will be experimental. It will be playing men against boys, and it's not going to be nice for these kids. But ultimately, I think you will learn more from playing a game, especially a very competitive game, than you ever will from training. I mean, yes, you'll learn things in training, you'll pick up skills, without a doubt. But in terms of absolute learning experience, you will learn more. And I remember Eric Paulson on this. He said to me, and he's former shooter world champion. He said to me, said to all of us, he learned more in a fight than a fight for him was like 6 months of training, because the build-up, preparation, everything, the training camp, and even the fight itself. So basically, within 6 weeks, he would have got 6 months worth of training just by getting ready for that fight. So you get playing this game. I'm not saying it's like I'm not saying it's not make up for about 1,000 training sessions, but you will learn a lot, and by playing, you will learn a huge amount just by playing. And so I'm hoping the likes of Carroll and Livermore have a better game than they did against Shamrock Rovers. And to be totally fair, I think this is actually a better game for them. Shamrock Rovers, we were expected to kill like 10,000 nil or something, because they are essentially at the Division 3 side. I mean, apologies to my friend Jez Kinsella, who's from the Emerald Isle, but I think he acknowledged that they're not the greatest side. They're a Division 2 side's tops, but there are giant killings. And let's face it, for about 30 seconds, you're thinking, shit, we could be a huge egg on our face if they do beat us. Thankfully, it didn't happen, but we'll go from there. we're luckily didn't happen, and we were able to get the victory. But we had to lose some quality players. I mean, Dos Santos. Everyone rates this guy. I rate him. You don't graduate from La Masia by being a crappy player. You don't play for Barcelona by being a crappy player. But let's make one thing very clear. First of all, actually, although it's not a good analogy because Etel's also let go from that Barcelona team. No, actually, Etel wasn't. Ronaldinho was let go. If you look at that Barcelona side of 2008 and look at the players that let go, it was your Decos, your Ronaldinhos, Dos Santos. These are players that basically said, you know what, your time's up at Barcelona, because it's not as if we were offering a ton of money for him. He just he wasn't going to make it in that team. He had Messi obviously ahead of him. He had Bojan as well. Bojan's now at Roma, so he wasn't going to make it. So it's not that we were getting a humongous prize when we signed him. I thought he's a good player. Obviously Barcelona did very well, but not only getting a huge prize out of him. So and everyone goes, oh, but he plays really well from Mexico. And at the World Cup, yes, he did play well. I was impressed. He did play extremely well. So did a young man called Toto Schillaci in Italia 90. He played superbly. Didn't cut the mustard though after that. Sometimes you can have a tournament and play superbly for those 5 games. Football's more than 5 games, And I think, and that's one thing that people should bear in mind. I mean, yes, he must play for Mexico, and I know apparently he played very well against Brazil. He was, considering they had players like Luis and they had some good players. He did pretty well. But it's a friendly, let's not take anything away from that. And for CONCACAF, that's how you pronounce it. Who's he playing? The United States, Honduras. You're not really playing the really difficult ties. So, and I think, let's face it, when you're playing for your country, I'm assuming you are playing for pride. You love your country. Maybe you just do play better. Some players do play better for their country. That motivation's there. Whatever, they hear their anthem. It's just that fire in their belly that isn't there when they're just picking up a paycheck. Same with Pav, I guess. But we'll see. Like I said, I'm sure. Like I said, they're all happy when we qualify and we do really well. So it's always but it's when things are going against you, the adversity, can they dig in? And they've been found wanting. I definitely will go for a 4-2-3-1. In terms of predictions, I feel sorry if anyone going to the game because I think we're going to be absolutely mullered. I really do. I think this will be a case of sacrificial lambs to the slaughter, and not in a funny way like Roald Dahl's classic poem, classic short story. Sorry. It will be a case of lambs to slaughter, but you never know. Who knows? Maybe let's face it. Against PAOK, 60 odd minutes, we did pretty well, and then they hit their crossbar. They had a penalty, But let's face it, we took a bunch of kids to a very intimidating stadium, and they didn't do that terribly. And pressure's off them. No one expected them to win. Everyone's expecting Rubin Kazan to go out and slaughter us, especially we put out, three academy kids in defence. But if you're good enough, as Phil Jones has shown, you're good enough, you're old enough. Who knows? Phil Jones has gone from a player that I'd never even heard of Phil Jones. Who would have heard of Phil Jones before this year? Who outside of Blackburn had heard of Phil Jones? Not that many. And now everyone talks about Phil Jones. And it's like that. It can be that quickly. You can rise to stardom, that quickly. It's just incredible. I remember when Rooney scored that goal against Arsenal, and I remember, was it 2002, 2003? And I remember what the guy said. Remember the name. And I'm sure there's a lot of players that remember the name and they've gone to obscurity. And I'm not saying Carroll won't be one of those players, but let's look at we've got some good kids. It'd be nice to bring a few youngsters through. Anyway, my name's Najad Shabam, and I hope you enjoy this link. Please click on the links, the ad links. That helps me out a little bit. And I'll give a shout out to a few a few Spurs sites I like to go to. Spurs Forum, Spurs Odyssey. I've met more guys from Spurs Odyssey face to face. Really nice bunch of guys. Spurs Forum, really great bunch of guys as well. I haven't really had a chance to meet them as much, apart from a couple of them. And but great bunch. Really good websites that I like using. Spurs Show Phil Cornwall, that's extremely funny and that cracks me up. So that's a thing. Definitely check that out. Cartilage Free Captains, Wheeler Della Radio. again, a very, very good site. And so yeah, I hope you enjoy this. And for all you guys that like to call me a tool or a prick, please do. As long as you're watching, I don't care.